Anyway, I just feel like the whole evolution of the business has coincided with an evolution of me as a person, emotionally and spiritually.
Welcome. It's Gull Khan here, your money mindset expert. And today I'm super excited to be speaking to the one and only Helen Pritchard. Now, someone who I truly admire, somebody who actually helped me when I was initially working out how to do things around LinkedIn. Some of you may have heard of her, some of you may not. If you haven't, then you're in for a treat. So welcome, Helen.
Hi, Gull. Thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be on.
I'm so excited you're here. Thank you so much for accepting this invitation. I'm super psyched. And after today's episode, I know people will be too. So Helen, tell everybody, what do you do and why do I think you're so amazing?
Well, I don't know why you think I'm particularly so amazing, but I'm Helen Pritchard, probably most famous for helping people get leads from LinkedIn. So not what I thought I'd do when I grew up, but I run a flagship kind of mastermind program called the LinkedIn Mastermind. And what I do is I show people exactly what they need to do on what people think is the most boring platform in the world, but actually is, I feel like, it's the most exciting because it's just a license to print money, and show people how to actually go and show up on there in a way that feels good and is high vibe and doesn't involve horrible things like sending any direct messages and stuff like that. And I think the success really has been from making it easy for people to understand how to get the ideal clients coming to them. So, and LinkedIn is just a beautiful way of doing that. So that's kind of what I do, weirdly. I've also mentored, hundreds and hundreds of businesses in kind of all things online marketing, really. But just because of a lot of people have been with me on my journey and people know me for that. So I talk about that. So, I mean, there's the business side of me, and then there's the LinkedIn side of me, and just generally, hopefully flying the flag for female entrepreneurs in the online space. There we go.
And I think definitely fly the flag beautifully. A leader in your own right. So Helen, I know, I can see the success, and people, when they sort of search you or have heard of you, would know how successful, how, you've created this amazing business, this multi-million-pound business in a relatively very short space of time. I think not longer, about 2-3 years. But there's a story behind this. I want people to understand that human side. So can you start and tell us, what is your story? So where and how did you end up being where you are, and what led you to this venture?
Well, I think if anyone who does follow me will know, you've heard this story a million times, but also you'll know that everything I do now is for 10 years ago me. So everything that I do, so I do loads of the free kind of free 5-day challenges, there's free courses and all that kind of stuff, free downloads. It's all because 10 years ago, I would never be able to afford to pay for anything. So it would have been completely out of the realms of possibility for me to invest in something like a course or a mentor and that kind of stuff. So 10 years ago, when I was 30, was when we'd just come out of the recession. My husband was a builder. Our marriage broke down, and I was left, we were sort of £90,000 in debt, personal debt. And the business collapsed, the marriage collapsed. We had 2 small children under 5, and my mental health wasn't good at all. So when I was a young teenager, I was in the private hospital because my agoraphobia, my panic attacks, my anxiety, my social anxiety was super bad, which I think people find hard to believe now.
It's difficult to believe how much of an extrovert and how much you like socializing, but or appears to be.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I think when 10 years ago, things, when things got really difficult, all that kind of came back, and I was suffering again from anxiety. And I think the thing for me was, I was looking at the ruins of my life and thinking, like, right, I need to do something. I need to do something drastic, and I need to do something quick. And the problem I've got is I can't pay for anything, I can't face doing anything, and I can't get to anything. So I've got these children, and I've got no money, and I've got, this mental health problems. But LinkedIn really saved me in that situation because it's free. I could do it from home and anywhere else and off my phone, and I didn't have to go anywhere. So I used LinkedIn to get lots of lovely inbound leads for what was then the social media marketing business. And the way that I set up LinkedIn just made sense to me. And I mean, I won't go into it now because you can get access to all this for free anyway. But it was all, I just wrote it for my ideal client, and I went and connected with my ideal clients, and then I put content out for my ideal clients, and I didn't message anyone, and I didn't write personalized connection requests, and I didn't do all these things that people said that now people say that I should do or should have done. And it just worked like a charm. So my ideal clients were coming to me. And then as my business grew, I turned it into an agency. we got as big into Facebook ads, and we still got all our leads from LinkedIn. And it was only 3 years ago now, maybe coming up to 4, when I used to talk to people and say, you know, they'd say, well, how did you get that client? I'd say, well, they came to me on LinkedIn. And people would say to me, no, but nobody gets leads from LinkedIn. It doesn't work like that. You know, or they'd say, oh, do you do this automation? Or do you do this, you know, do you have someone manage it for you? You know, are you sending out all these emails? Are you scraping the data? And I was like, no, I just do these 3 things every day. And it takes me about 10, 20 minutes. And then people just inquire direct to me. And I could see people's sort of cynicism. And I'd show them. It was so simple. I used to draw it on a napkin. Because I'd normally at an event, and then they'd give them a napkin and they'd go away and they'd come back and they'd be like, guess what? You know, I got a lead. I'm like, yeah, no, that's how it works. And it was only really when I started showing more people that I thought, actually, I'm onto something here, because it works for everybody. And it still does. It works for absolutely everybody. So when I started to teach that online, I was doing this, you know, the £99 thing, as I call it, where I don't do this anymore, but I used to charge people £99 and we'd do like an online Zoom thing. People just used to rave about it because they'd get it and they'd do it, and then they'd make loads of money, and then they'd tell everyone. And then I did hundreds of guest experts, so going into other people's groups, trying to teach this method. I was just on this huge mission to help people, because I was like, it saved me 10 years ago. I was like, listen, guys, I'll tell you this for free. This is what you need to do. So I did hundreds and hundreds of guest experts. I've now done hundreds and hundreds of podcasts. You know, I've got so much free information out there, because I want people to just know how it works, so they can then go and just get some money in the bank. So, you know, I know Gull and we've talked about money before when I've interviewed you, and like, yeah, over that process, I just completely transformed my mindset around money, and working online just opened up these huge opportunities for me, where I wanted to tell the world this stuff, and I was prepared to do whatever it took to tell people. And then as a byproduct of that, people are like, oh, we want more. You know, we want to be in a kind of mastermind with you. Or we want to be in a group thing with you. So I was like, okay. So I sold my first mastermind to 8 people for £300 a head. And, you know, it was great fun. And I made it as we went. I was literally like, all right, well, I'm going to make it up as I go. Like, I literally, the first mastermind, the first iteration of my mastermind, I recorded every video in the morning. So it's like 40 videos, and I just got up every morning and recorded the video. I was like, right, do this today, do that today. And that became the mastermind for the first 2.5 years. We only re-recorded it last year. And what happened was people just heard about it and wanted to join. And then it just kind of got bigger and bigger and bigger. And we were doing these launches. And then when I started to work with Phil Harrison, who some of you may know or may not know, if you don't, I suggest you look him up. And we really implemented this 5-day challenge process into the business. So I think on my own, I did about 200K. Which is a good, solid, like online business earning kind of thing. I was dead chuffed with that, obviously. But when Phil came in and we implemented the free 5-day challenge thing, it just went crazy. So yeah, so in that last year I set a target for us to do 1 million in sales. Now, sales is not turnover in my business. Sales is sales orders, because a lot of people join and pay over 12 months. So that's for the people who go and search my company's house and be like, oh, she only did like 400K. Like, it's a lie. It's like, it's not a lie. It's that's what cash came in that year. You know, and people, you know, it's a head orders, and because people do that, and they do, and they street view my house and things like that, and say, look, she's not a millionaire. And I'm like, I'm not a millionaire, guys. Like, I'm not a millionaire. 100% not a millionaire. I've not even turned over 1 million yet. But we did over £1 million in sales in a year, which I was like massively excited about and super celebrating. And it was a real shock to me that people were really keen to drag that down. But that's fine. And then this year, obviously it's been a bit of a different year. Our target was 3 million in sales orders, and I'm about halfway through. And we're doing all right. We're doing all right, but whether we'll hit that target, I'm not sure. It depends. There's so many variables, you know. Yeah. But I did get an interview with Phil, and we've generated 1.8 million in sales from the mastermind alone.
Wow.
Which is great, isn't it? And it's kind of like, yeah, it's not profit. I spend a lot of money. So in my business, I outsource everything that doesn't need me. Everything. I'm like the queen of outsourcing in the business and at home. So I don't do anything that I don't want to do, or I have to. So the only things I do in the business now, which is what I love about it, is this. So live, anything that's on video, obviously. So live videos, live interviews, podcasts, guest experts, and delivering training for people who pay me, you know, and that is just like one call every fortnight. There's nothing else for me to do. It's fantastic. But that costs loads of money, because I have all these people. I've got like about 24 contractors working for me now. And it costs us a lot of money, like 30, 40K a month or something going out. So that's why we're not hugely, massively profitable. But that's a choice I've made because I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to have the lifestyle that I've got, which
lifestyle choice. Yeah.
Yeah, hugely. So my life is zero stress at home or at work. I mean, pretty well, I've got 2 teenage girls, so it's never zero stress, never zero drama, but, business-wise, zero stress. Everything is handled and I can make things happen really quickly, which is what I love. So I can just have an idea in the morning and we can bring that to life, in the afternoon pretty much because we've got so many people. We've got branding teams, we've got marketing teams, we've got strategy teams, we've got operational teams. It's fantastic. So all these people that just make things happen for me. So from an entrepreneurial point of view, I love it. But it costs big dollar, and that's why. But that's the price, literally the price I'm willing to pay to have the lifestyle that I desire, which is just I don't work Mondays or Fridays. I only work between 12 and 3, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like I'm living my dream, guys. Like I'm living my dream. So money wise, it's just given me such great opportunities. And the same at home. I have people helping me at home. Like my sister said, "Can I take your ironing board?" And I was like, "Take it. I've not done ironing for like 4 years." I don't do any washing, ironing, tidying up hardly. I mean, I do a bit of tidying up, but I have people that look after the house. I have somebody who drives me places if I need them to. I have my car balloted every week, pretty much. I have people that organise all my personal appointments. Like literally, I'm living the Elton John, J-Lo diva lifestyle. And I love it. So I'm like super happy. So my life's fantastic. But yeah, could I make more money if I did more stuff or I had less help? Yeah, of course. But I choose not to.
Well, it's a mindset choice. It's a lifestyle choice, and it's a mindset thing. So you've chosen to. But I mean, what I'm hearing from you is making money is not as important as having the lifestyle choice. So you're making the money, but you're spending in a way to create the kind of life that you choose to have, which I think I totally value because we're only here, and I keep talking about this in my trainings, we're here for a finite amount of period of time. I mean, how much money do you want to put in the bank before you die in the grave, right? So it's worth you spending, and as long as you understand you can create and make and have that money as much as you want, it's never ending. And therefore you're able to spend in the good way, not spending out and wasting the money on casinos or whatnot, but actually spending it where you're creating livelihoods for other people to be able to do what they need to do so you can focus on your zone of genius, plus enjoy the life that you have and enjoy living your life in the way you do. So I completely value that. I completely understand. And that's exactly.
I don't need to justify it to anyone or to myself.
No, I love exactly what I wanted. Yeah. That's what I would do. I mean, that's pretty much where the route I'm going down in terms of the kind of house I want, the kind of things I want, the kind of help that's going to be coming. And ironing, I totally understand. I haven't done ironing for about a year and a half. It goes out, the washing and the ironing's done, and like I give it to them and hand it back to me. That's all we ever do, and everything gets done, including even the underwear. It's so funny. But anyway, so coming back to you now. This sounds great, and it's amazing that you created this business. But surely it wasn't. It sounds like it's really easy. Surely it can't be as easy. So where was the biggest obstacle, and what was your biggest obstacle in creating this business that you have created?
I think what it was I had to so I say this is dead cheesy, but it's true. And I'm having merch made with it on, but success is a decision. And I think the biggest obstacle was me allowing myself to just make that decision. That was the biggest thing. It was kind of, everything was hard and everything was a graft and everything was difficult. It's kind of I gave myself permission to make everything easy.
Right.
And then once I did that, everything, honestly, I'm, me, I'm super spiritual, but once I truly, truly, truly gave myself permission to just enjoy it, I think everything just, the obstacle is always you, isn't it? But the obstacle really was.
Absolutely.
The obstacle was me thinking, who am I to live this lifestyle? Who am I to, have these things? Who am I to, be this person? And the biggest decision I made was to be completely myself. Now, people say that, and I said that, but it wasn't quite true because I thought I was being myself. But there's there's always this fifth gear of being yourself that I got into where I was like, oh, now I can just completely be myself, really be myself. And I think that came at a point where the business was becoming more successful because confidence, comes from evidence. And once I had that evidence and I talked with Phil about this, I was interviewed by him yesterday, but once I knew I had this profitable, predictable business, which with the 5-day challenge mechanism, suddenly it's kind of like, oh, that felt like giving myself permission to just enjoy where I'm at. I think the obstacle before was we were just going from launch to launch to launch, not knowing where the next, pound was coming from. And I kind of allowed myself to get into that, like, oh, this is me, I'm the grinding it out, I'm this entrepreneur,
Yeah.
And I totally do believe in hustle. Like, I think the anti-hustle movement's the worst thing that's ever happened to business. And I was grinding it out, and I really was grinding it out, but I had to give myself permission to say, you don't need to do that anymore. It's okay. You've done that. So I worked crazy, crazy hard and made huge sacrifices, in the first couple of years, but it was all working up to this. And that had to be a point where I was kind of like, this is it now, Helen. You've done what you had to do to get what you wanted. You've got what you wanted. And now is your time to absolutely enjoy it. Will it last forever? No. And I know it won't last forever because nothing ever does, right? So maybe I'll have more money. Maybe I'll have less. Maybe the business will change. Maybe it's never a static thing.
No.
So it's kind of like really, really enjoying it. And right now, like literally I get out of bed every day just thinking this is my actual life, and I absolutely love it, like every moment of every day of it. So it's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I love it.
Fabulous. So in terms of your mindset, and I love what you said, I'm allowing it. So this is one of the major concepts that I teach in my mastermind and even my other teaching trainings, where you have to accept the fact that you have to love yourself enough to allow things to happen for you with ease and grace. I always talk about the energy of ease and grace. I am actually not. I'm one of those who's naturally inclined towards hustling because of the way I've been. The work ethic has been drummed into me. Yeah. But I've had to, like you, work on myself and slow myself down. They actually know I need to not hustle, but work and allow 20% of my actions to give me the 80% of my results, and allow that to happen in all areas of my life. And like you said, I delegate. I have to have delegated so much of my business to outsource to various things. But that takes a mindset shift. That takes a decision in you internally. One, to allow the growth to happen, and two, to accept the fact that you're not to not be in control of all areas of business. And for someone like you and I, which we are always constantly, perfectionists and trying to do this and 100 miles per hour speed. How did you slow yourself down? How did you allow yourself to make that decision, to accept the fact that, I am amazing and I'm allowed to enjoy my life and I'm allowed to have things happen for me easily? Now, for those who don't understand this concept, this requires a specific decision around I'm enough, I'm worthy. It's a definite mindset shift. How did that work for you? How did that happen for you?
I think it all coincided. So it all coincided with me being single. So me and my boyfriend, after my husband, we split up. And I think it was that journey that was going on in the background that nobody really knew about, because I don't tend to bring that stuff to work, really. Like, just out of respect for him. But, I think all that work was happening in the background around, am I enough, and all that. And I think as I got more confident in myself as a woman, and I started to heal from that, and I started to do all the inner work and all that stuff, because I always look for, I'm not really into personal development, because I think that we're enough. So I used to read a lot of PD books, and I'd be like, oh, come on, I don't need a morning routine. This is nonsense, I'll be like, oh, well, I need to do this, this, and this, and then I'll be a better person. It's like, no, actually, you're absolutely fine the way you are. But I was doing the inner work for my emotions around,
which is more important, by the way.
Love and romance, super important. And it's only really now when I look back, I see how that correlates. So as I was stepping more into who I was as a single woman, which is different to being in a partnership, I think, because this is just me now. Like, it's little things, isn't it? It's like, what do I actually want to watch on the telly? What do I actually want to have for my dinner? Because you're just always thinking of someone else, and I'm a really confident, like, alpha kind of woman in a lot of ways, particularly at work, because I think that's where, you just kind of do that. But at home, I'm kind of like, I want to be looked after, and I'm quite almost like, I don't know, subservience probably a bit too far the other way. But you know what I mean? I'm kind of like,
I totally understand where you're coming from.
I'm a caregiver, I'm very feminine. I'm a caregiver. I want everyone to be happy. I want everyone to be fed. I want everyone to, I like to have, parties and that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I kind of, when I came into this whole, now I need to care for myself. and look to what do I want as a person, like what really is good for me, what nourishes me, and what's not good for me. Probably did a bit of both, like you do.
Yeah.
And, and it really gave me more time with my children. And I think it's this evolution, and lockdown's been great for me because it's given me so much time. So last year I traveled internationally, I think 12 to 14 times. I was all over the world. I was flying around the world. I got my teenage daughters, so I was kind of juggling all that, and it was brilliant, and I don't regret a minute of it, and I loved it. But lockdown stopped that, and it made me, there's something about traveling, and when I traveled, I'd meet people, and one of the things I used to say is like, what are you running away from then? Because when you travel, you normally trying to find yourself, or you're trying to get away from something. And it just stopped me, and it made me come home and be centered and be with my children and my daughters who were like 13 and 15. And it was a real revelation for me. I think just it's all coincided. The more confident in myself I got, the more confident I was showing up as myself, the more myself I was in every area of my life, but particularly in the business. I felt more able to ask for what I wanted from the people in the business. I allowed people. So it's a really good metaphor. So me and Phil, so we've got that dynamic. He's very masculine, I'm very feminine. So I had to allow him in the business, to take control of things. Mm-hmm. And, and it was a really difficult transition because I'm used to doing, I could do it all myself. I'm a single mom, I'm this, I'm that. I can, I'm so in my masculine. And we had to go through that process of I had to allow him to look after me in the business. I think that's what I'd say, which sounds a bit emotionally soft, but it's true because I can't do it all, and I don't want to do it all. But I remember one point I was on the phone to Phil crying because I was like, I feel like I just work for the business now, and I just get my money every month, and I don't really know what's going on anymore. And he was like, that's what you wanted. You wanted me to take care of everything, so you could, focus on doing the things you want to do, like creating new products, bringing out new things, writing your book, and all that. And I'm like, I know that's what I wanted, but. I still feel a bit emotional. And I'm sure he's on the phone like, for God's sake. But I think that's been a good metaphor for life as well. So I think, I can't remember what the question was, but anyway, I just feel like the whole evolution of the business has coincided with an evolution of me as a person, emotionally and spiritually.
And that's exactly what I wanted to hear, because that's exactly what I believe in, that the more you work on the internal world, the more your external world will reflect that internal reality of yours. And exactly, and I find this not just for myself and the clients that I work with and or other entrepreneurs that I see their growth, because I've seen your growth over the last couple of years. And that is absolutely true, that the more you grow internally, the evolution of your internal world, which is only through your acceptance and you working through your deepest, darkest demons, and working with your emotions, and releasing older emotional traumas and building yourself up from inside out. That is reflected in your external reality, and this is exactly what you said. It's shown up beautifully in your business, because when you accepted yourself for who you are truly internally, you allowed things to be easy externally, and so they were, and therefore everything just fell into place. The right people showed up, the right help showed up, and you're able to manifest the kind of business and the lifestyle that you wanted, which is amazing, which is beautiful, and exactly what we're striving for. So what would be your one advice, or what advice would you give to somebody else who's maybe in a similar situation as yourself? Maybe they're starting out on a business, maybe they're in a corporate world and they're letting go of the corporate life because, especially at the moment we're recording this during the pandemic, and I just read this news article this morning that we're going into the biggest recession ever in the UK. So there are many people who may have lost jobs, or the jobs are shaky. Then there's tons of uncertainty. What advice would you give to that individual, man and woman both, who are contemplating the idea of leaving the supposed security of their job and venturing into the unknown world of entrepreneurship, having a business,
I would definitely say to them, as much as you won't believe it, you'll think it's a practical thing, we're going to do this, it's a mind game. It's a total mind game. One of the things I would say to them is you've got to be prepared to let go of your identity and you can transform into something else, but you can't transform into something else if you're hanging on to your identity. And that could be as anything. It could be in your job, could be in your old business, it could be as a mum or as a wife or whatever. Like sometimes you've got to let that identity go. And I really struggled with that when I was transitioning from running an agency into being an online entrepreneur or whatever. Like I didn't want to be an online entrepreneur because I just looked at these people and I was like, you're all full of shit. Like I don't want to be one of you, you know. And I still feel like that about a lot of people in the world, you know. But you know, when I was an agency owner, I had that. Everyone knew me for that, and I was doing great things, and I felt like legitimate. And then to go into a totally different world where I feel like I'm swimming with sharks, and people are gonna, you know, a lot of that kind of. So, but I had to let go of that identity and make a decision to be the new person. I think until you really accept that, and surrender to it, you know. So and I get rid of that belief system of, it's hard for me because, or it's, you know, I think the recession is going to bring up so much this money stuff, like the world needs you, Gull, like super needs you right now. All this money stuff is coming up. I feel like for guys like girls like us who are, you know, people can find us, if that makes sense. So we are out there. We are doing our lighthouse thing. We're putting stuff out there. And we can help people with their mindset, with their money, with their, you know, online activities. I feel like this is the moment that we've been working to and that we've been called to. A really good book, which I think I'm going to reread, is Light is the New Black by Rebecca Campbell. And she talks about this. It's kind of like we're on a mission and this is it. And I feel like no one could predict this, but I feel like this is going to be our moment where the people who've stepped up to lead, people like you're talking about who are leaving their jobs, who are scared, who are worried or concerned, you know, they're going to need us. They're going to need us. And I think that's why I've had this feeling that I can't put my finger on of like, it's not quick enough. I need to get in front of more people. I need more impact. I need people to, you know, like I'm saying to my team, like, I want to be mainstream. I don't want to be an online entrepreneur. I want people to know me in the street because I'm the person that can help people transition from A to B, you know, and it sounds like an ego thing, and I suppose part of it.
I have the same feeling, so it's like the same wavelength. Absolutely.
Yeah, I need to be on Phil's sofa so that millions of people will know who we are, because it's not just me; it's everyone in this world who've been in this small pond of that people find accidentally. But it's kind of like the world needs it now. The world needs people who can help people with their mindset, with their money, with their businesses, with their transitions, and support them and help them and hold them while they go through that. And I honestly do feel like that's what we've been working up for. And I think that's why I've had that feeling that I now don't have. It's almost like, well, it's okay now because it's all going to work out perfectly and it's fine. I kind of get it. I can see it. I see it all unfolding now and it's okay. But yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? I just feel the energy of the whole universe and all that is, to me, feels positive.
I'm smiling because you've said literally, you've hit the nail on the head on a topic that I literally covered. So this is going to be released on the Friday, and I talked about your letting go of your identity on the Monday. So literally 2 episodes ago, I think 1 episode ago rather. So the Monday episode, I talked about exactly this, that they need to let go of your old identity to adopt, in order for you to allow the new you to be born. So you have to let go of the old you. So the old you has to die for the new you to be born.
And you have to grieve,
And you have to grieve for the reasons why. And I'm so glad. I was smiling.
I know. You
talked about the same thing. So I think that's beautiful. And I agree. I do also feel that there's a grand awakening in the masses, not just in just a few hundreds, but hundreds of thousands of people awakening up to the idea of what's possible for them. And you and I are at the forefront as leaders, saying, okay, this is possible and everything's possible. But it's a spiritual thing, and it is through using the energy tools and using the universal powers, rather than sticking to what's actually seeable or foreseeable in the physical 3D world. And I think you and I are beyond that. We actually go to the metaphysical world and connect with the spiritual world, and using spirituals to be able to move ourselves forward. And I think a lot of people are waking up to the idea of mindset and energy to transform their lives. And I think that's why whenever we get our discussion, we have conversation, because we're so in tune, and everything you've said just hit me in my heart. Okay, this is what I'm working towards. And so even the struggles you've had, everything is just so the kind of person I am. But that also means that there are more people like you and I in the world who are all striving for the same thing and working towards their goals. And there are people like, there's 1.0 version of you, 1.0 version of me, who needs your help and who needs my help to be where we are right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you say, it's just like we're obviously downloading from the same source here, because every time we get together, it's like, oh, it makes me kind of like, when I saw in my diary today, because obviously I don't book anything myself, like I said, so I'll go wake up in the morning like, what have I got on today? Oh, I was like, Gull Khan, fantastic. Because I just knew what it'd be like. I knew it'd just be like, it's magical. Like I've started to put I put on Facebook the other day, I was like, expect magic. Because that's what I woke up with in my head. It's like, expect magic, expect magic, expect. I was like, all right, I'll put it on Facebook, And it's kind of like, it feels good to me. And it's kind of, it doesn't compute with what I'm seeing, in the world. I'm like, this all looks really bad. But to me, it feels like something good's coming. I feel like something exciting's happening and this huge shift's coming. And I think we'll look back and be like, that was intense. That was what a time to be alive, literally,
It is.
In our generation, like, we're in the, well, I feel like at 40, like I'm in the prime of my life, in terms of my business, my children. I've just met an amazing guy. I just feel like everything's fantastic. I know. I had to let go of my beliefs that I can only be rich if I'm a single woman. I had to let go of that and be like, I allow this to happen. Like and as soon as I got into that mindset, he just appeared. He was right under my nose all along. I've known him for years and years and years, but I was. So, magical things are happening for me. And I want magical things to happen for everybody. And I just feel like, we will look back in maybe 2 or 3 years and be like, fuck, that was a ride. You know what I mean? That was a wild ride.
Intense ride, for sure. And
but we're ready for it.
Yeah, we are. And we've done the work. I think like I said before, we've done the work of the last couple of years to get to where we are right now. There's been a sense of urgency. I have to do this. And I'm so glad you said this about mainstream. This is exactly the drive that I have, that I feel that my message needs to be on the mainstream, not just for select few online, because everybody needs to know about these energy tools, about how they can remove the money blocks and how can they remove their limited beliefs around money. Because everyone, and you and I would know this, making money is easy when you allow it.
Yeah.
And once you remove your money blocks, making money is so easy. And that's why you can move forward rapidly rather than having to graft for 10, 15, 20 years to make a living, rather.
Yeah, exactly. This is it. And I just feel like everything's going to be all right. That's it. That's my message. Everything's going to be all right. I promise. Helen Pritchard.
Well, on that note, I totally agree with you, Helen. But on that note, thank you so much. Tell us, where can we find you, Helen?
So what I really want people to do is follow me on Facebook. I can't have any more friends because I'm up to the silly 5,000 limit. But if you follow me on my personal Facebook, that's kind of my octopus body, if you like. That's lots of tentacles that go off to different places, but that's where you find out most of the things. So if you just search for Helen Pritchard Warrington, it's my hometown, northern town, you should find me and follow me on there. And I put most of my life's on there, to be honest. So, you can just follow me and find out more about me there. If it's LinkedIn specific stuff that you want, then if you go to my free group, which is the LinkedIn marketing group, Helen Pritchard's LinkedIn marketing group, you can find that. And, everything, if you'd ever want to know about how to use LinkedIn my way, is kind of in there, definitely. And follow me on Instagram, because I can't get any followers on there. It's rubbish. So that's it, at Helen Pritchard online. I've been stuck at like 4,000 followers forever. It drives me crazy.
I've been stuck around 4.5 for ages.
I just want to get 10,000 so I can have swipe up, that's all. But, I want to do it the right way. So, yeah, please have pity on me and follow me on Instagram.
Well, thank you so much. And for everyone listening, all the links that Helen just mentioned will be in the show notes. So do remember to, you can go click on those and you can actually be directed to those links exactly. Yes, it is. But thank you so much for listening to today's. It's been an amazing session, as I was expecting, because I knew Helen's so amazing, and we really had such a blast when we talk to each other anyway. It doesn't matter if I'm interviewing her or she's interviewing me. Either way, it works. So thank you so much for being here, for being a guest for us and enlightening us with your amazing wisdom and being your amazing self. Please carry on just spreading your magic. And I'm saying spreading magic because you're truth, but you are spreading magic. So carry on spreading your magic. And thank you so much for being part of my world and part of my life. And for those of you listening, thank you so much for being with us today. It's been an amazing session as always. I will be back with another amazing guest for a Friday feature. Until the next time we meet, this is Gull Khan signing off. Take care and bye for now.